The massive Zarnian warship emerged from hyperspace near Earth's moon. Its dark hull absorbed the sun's light rather than reflecting it, making the vessel appear like a void against the starry background. On the observation deck, Admiral Krell watched the blue planet grow larger on the viewscreen. His scaled skin tightened with anticipation. "Such a small world to cause so much concern," he said to his second-in-command, Commander Vex. Commander Vex's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The Vex Confederation has sent 3 formal warnings about this planet, Admiral. They insist these humans are unpredictable and dangerous." Krell made a dismissive gesture with his upper limbs. "The Vex fear everything. That's why they hide on their forest worlds instead of ruling the stars like we do." He turned to face the tactical display. "Our scans show primitive technology. Their most advanced weapons couldn't penetrate our outer shields. Their fastest ships would take years to reach even their neighboring planets." "Yes, Admiral," Vex replied, "but the Vex ambassador specifically mentioned that humans develop rapidly when threatened. Their historical records show—" "Enough," Krell interrupted. "The High Council has made its decision. Earth is rich in resources we need, and its strategic position is valuable. We will follow standard colonization protocol." On Earth, Captain Olivia Mason stared at the satellite images on her screen. After 15 years with the Earth Defense Force, she had trained for this moment but never truly expected it to arrive. "How long has it been there?" she asked. The young technician beside her swallowed hard. "The object appeared 90 minutes. Go, ma'am. It's approximately 2 kilometers long. Nothing we have could build something that size." Olivia reached for her secure phone. "Get me the Joint Chiefs. Now." Within hours, Olivia found herself in a hastily assembled command center beneath the Pentagon. Military leaders from around the world joined via secure video links. The room hummed with tension and whispered conversations. General Harris, a gray-haired man with tired eyes, called the meeting to order. "Ladies and gentlemen, we face an unprecedented situation. An alien vessel has taken position in lunar orbit. It has made no attempt to communicate or conceal itself." Olivia stood when asked to report. "Our best analysis suggests this is a military vessel. Its design focuses on function over form. We detect multiple weapon emplacements in what appear to be launch bays. This isn't a scientific mission." On Keo, the other side of the galaxy, Ambassador Thrix of the Vex Confederation hurried through the grand halls of the Zarnian High Council. His translucent body glowed with stress patterns that any Vex would recognize as extreme distress. 2 Zarnian guards blocked his path to the council chamber. "You must let me address them," Thrix pleaded. "They don't understand the danger." A tall female Zarnian in elaborate robes approached. "Ambassador Thrix, the council is in session regarding internal matters. Your urgent request seems excessive." Thrix's tendrils waved in frustration. "Counselor Mara, the Empire has sent colonization forces to Earth. This is a terrible mistake. My species has observed humans for centuries. They appear primitive, but they are remarkably adaptable and dangerous." Mara's 6 fingers tapped against her ceremonial staff. "The decision has been made, Ambassador. Earth will become a productive member of the Empire, like hundreds of worlds before it." "Not like the others," Thrix insisted. "Humans have fought thousands of wars against themselves. Their technology advances in great leaps during conflicts. They turn everyday items into weapons. They never surrender, even against impossible odds." "All species resist at first," Mara said. "They learn their place. Back on Earth, world leaders gathered virtually to form a unified response team. After hours of debate, they selected diplomat Alan Murphy to serve as humanity's voice. His experience negotiating peace treaties in war zones made him uniquely qualified for first contact. "I'll need a military advisor," Alan said during the briefing. "Someone who understands defense capabilities but won't provoke unnecessarily." General Harris nodded. "Captain Mason has been tracking this situation from the beginning. She's our best tactical mind and keeps a cool head. Olivia and..." Alan met at Andrews Air Force Base while preparations continued around them. "They've been watching us for 3 days," Olivia said, showing Alan the latest images. "They've launched smaller craft that are mapping our planet. They're planning something." Alan sighed. "Or they're just curious. We need to avoid assuming hostile intent. That ship isn't built for scientific research, Olivia pointed out. I've studied military vessels my whole career. Everything about its design says warship. Before Alan could respond, alarms blared. A junior officer rushed toward them. Captain, the alien vessel is moving into Earth orbit. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. Screens throughout the base displayed the same image. A tall, reptilian figure with 4 arms and a head that seemed too small for its broad shoulders. When it spoke, the words came through in perfect English. People of Earth. I am Admiral Krell of the Zarnian Empire. Your world has been selected to join our glorious domain. Resistance is possible, but pointless. We offer you the opportunity to become a productive protectorate. Your resources will serve the greater good of the Empire. Your people will receive the benefits of our advanced civilization. In the Zarnian High Council chamber, Ambassador Thrix watched the transmission with growing horror. They're using standard colonization protocol. The humans won't respond well to threats. Counselor Mara seemed unconcerned. Every species objects at first. They will see reason when Admiral Krell demonstrates our power. On Earth, world leaders watch the same message with varying reactions of fear, anger, and disbelief. They want our planet, Alan said quietly. Olivia's face hardened. They expect us to just hand it over. Admiral Krell's image continued. You have 72 hours to prepare your leaders for formal submission. If you resist, we will provide a demonstration of power that will change your minds. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. For several seconds, no one spoke. General Harris finally broke the silence. Captain Mason, what are we looking at in terms of their capabilities? Olivia took a deep breath. Based on their technology level, we're severely outmatched. But they made a critical mistake. What's that? Alan asked. They gave us time, Olivia replied. Humans are at their most dangerous when backed into a corner with a deadline. We have 72 hours to show them exactly why the Vex tried to warn them about us. In his private chamber, Admiral Krell received a priority communication from the High Council. The Vex continue to protest our actions, Counselor Mara informed him. They insist these humans are uniquely dangerous. Have you observed anything concerning? Krell laughed. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Their weapons are primitive. Their political system is fragmented. This will be the easiest colonization in my career. Proceed as planned then, Mara said. The Empire grows stronger with each new world. As the transmission ended, Krell turned back to the view screen showing Earth. Such a small blue planet. How much trouble could it possibly cause? The 72-hour deadline created a storm of activity across Earth. In underground bunkers, military bases, and government facilities, humans worked with a single purpose. World leaders set aside long-standing conflicts to focus on the common threat. At the Pentagon Command Center, Olivia studied the latest satellite images with Dr. Frank Carter, the military's top weapons researcher. His weathered face showed deep concentration as he pointed to sections of the alien ship. Their design tells us a lot, Frank said. See these energy signatures? They rely heavily on powered shields rather than physical armor. It's efficient against energy weapons, but they might not expect kinetic attacks. Olivia nodded. Like throwing rocks instead of firing lasers? Exactly. Very big, very fast rocks. Frank pulled up another image. And look at these heat blooms. Their power system runs hot. They sacrifice efficiency for raw power. In another section of the facility, Alan Murphy coordinated with diplomats worldwide. His job was to keep communication channels open with the Zarnians while buying time. Admiral Krell, Alan spoke into the secure communication system. Earth's nations are discussing your proposal, but our planet has many governments. We need more time to reach consensus. Krell's reptilian face showed no emotion on the large screen. Your political inefficiency is not our concern. The deadline remains unchanged. After the transmission ended, Alan turned to Olivia. He didn't even consider extending the time. They're completely inflexible. That's good news, Olivia replied. Inflexible enemies are predictable enemies. Miles away, engineer Lisa Daniels worked with a team at MIT analyzing the Zarnian communication signals. She hadn't slept in 30 hours, but her eyes remained alert as patterns emerged on her screen. They're using quantum frequencies we've only theorized about, she told her colleague Kyle Bennett. But look at this repeating pattern. Their encryption has a rhythm. Kyle, a former cybersecurity expert, leaned closer. It's complex, but there's definitely a pattern. If we could disrupt it, we could blind them temporarily, Lisa finished his thought. Maybe long enough to matter. On the Zarnian warship, Commander Vex approached Admiral Krell with concern evident in his posture. Admiral, the humans are broadcasting global messages mobilizing their military forces. They appear to be preparing for resistance. Krell made a sound similar to laughter. As expected, all species posture before accepting reality. They're primitive. Weapons cannot harm us. Sir, we've detected unusual communications patterns. They've also been probing our ship with various scanning technologies. Let them gather what data they wish, Krell said dismissively. It will only confirm their hopeless situation. Across Earth, manufacturing facilities converted to round-the-clock production. Car factories now produced specialized components for weapon systems. Computer companies reprogrammed satellites. Chemical plants created new compounds based on Frank's theoretical models of alien technology. At NASA's Mission Control, scientists and engineers repurposed space equipment for defense. The director pointed to diagrams of satellites and space telescopes. We can modify these to detect changes in their shield frequencies, she explained to Olivia. If Dr. Carter's theories are correct, we might find exploitable patterns. As the deadline approached 48 hours, Alan requested a meeting aboard the Zarnian flagship. To everyone's surprise, Admiral Krell agreed. It's almost certainly a trap, General Harris warned in the pre-mission briefing. They'll try to capture our leadership. Or they're so confident they don't see us as a threat, Olivia suggested, which gives us an advantage. Alan packed no weapons for the mission. If they want to kill us, they can do it whether we're armed or not. Better to appear cooperative. Olivia insisted on joining the diplomatic team. I need to see their technology up close. Every detail helps. A Zarnian shuttle collected them from a military airfield. The craft had no visible propulsion system, yet moved with impossible smoothness. Inside, the air smelled slightly metallic. When they arrived on the flagship, Olivia memorized every detail while maintaining a neutral expression. The corridors were tall and wide for the Zarnians' large frames. The lighting pulsed subtly in patterns that seemed to follow their movement. Admiral Krell received them in a command room with view screens showing Earth from various angles. His forearms were adorned with symbols of rank. Welcome aboard the glory of Zarnia, he said. I trust you've come to discuss surrender terms. Alan stepped forward with practiced calm. Admiral, we've come to propose an alternative. Earth wishes to establish peaceful relations with the Zarnian Empire as an independent ally, not a subject world. Krell's small head tilted slightly. You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation between equals. The Empire requires your resources. Your cooperation is preferred but optional. Our planet has survived many threats, Alan continued. We've developed unique solutions to seemingly impossible problems. We could offer these innovations as trade. Enough, Krell interrupted. Your primitive achievements do not interest us. We have colonized hundreds of worlds. Some resisted. Briefly. All serve the Empire now. While they spoke, Olivia observed the control interfaces and crew movements. She noticed how the Zarnian officers communicated with their ship through direct neural interfaces combined with physical controls. She spotted potential vulnerabilities in their system architecture. Admiral, she said suddenly, your technology is impressive, but technology alone doesn't determine the outcome of conflicts. History is filled with technologically superior forces that were defeated by primitive opponents. Krell's attention shifted to her. Your military history is irrelevant to this situation. Our advantage is not merely technological, it is absolute. Then you have nothing to fear from allowing us more time, Alan suggested. Perhaps 2 weeks to properly prepare Earth for integration. The deadline stands, Krell stated firmly. Return to your planet and prepare for submission. Back on Earth, Lisa and Kyle had made a breakthrough in their communications lab. We've mapped their entire communication spectrum, Lisa explained to military officials, and we've created a targeted disruption system. Kyle demonstrated by activating a small device. This generates quantum noise on exactly the frequencies they use. In theory, it should create significant confusion in their systems. The officials looked skeptical until Frank Carter joined the conversation. We've found similar vulnerabilities in their sensor arrays and targeting systems. They've optimized for efficiency against known threats, not for resilience against the unexpected. As the 72-hour deadline approached its final hours, world leaders gathered virtually for the most important decision in human history. We've analyzed every aspect of the situation, Olivia reported. The Zarnians have overwhelming firepower, but they also have exploitable weaknesses. They expect compliance or token resistance followed by surrender. What they don't expect, Frank added, is our capacity for rapid innovation and adaptation. We've developed more technology in the past 3 days than in the previous year. The President of the United States looked grave on the video conference. The question before us is simple but momentous. Do we submit to become a colony of this alien empire, or do we fight for our independence with everything we have? One by one, world leaders voiced their positions. Despite differences in language, culture, and history, their answers converged on a single response. When the deadline arrived, Alan sent a simple message to the Zarnian flagship. Humanity respectfully declines your offer and proposes peaceful coexistence instead. Admiral Krell received the message with a mixture of surprise and anticipation. So they choose extinction, prepare primary weapons, target their major military installations first. Commander Vex hesitated briefly. Admiral, the Vex warnings were the concerns of cowards, Krell snapped. Begin the attack. Let's show these humans the consequence of defying the Zarnian Empire. As the massive alien warship moved into attack position, Olivia watched from the command center. All units, prepare to execute Operation Slingshot on my mark. The first Zarnian energy weapon fired toward Earth. A brilliant beam of concentrated destruction aimed at a military base. Humanity's response was about to begin. The Zarnian energy beam streaked toward Earth, aimed at the North American Defense Command Center in Colorado. Admiral Krell watched with satisfaction, expecting to see a massive explosion. Instead, the beam seemed to bend slightly before hitting its target. The mountain facility remained intact. What happened? Krell demanded. Direct hit should have vaporized their command structure. A Zarnian officer checked the readings. Unknown interference with the targeting system, Admiral. The humans appear to have deployed some kind of deflection field. Impossible, Krell snapped. Their technology is too primitive. Fire again. On Earth, in a hardened bunker beneath the Pentagon, Olivia watched the attack on multiple screens. The mirror array worked, she announced to the tense room. Frank's team redirected most of the energy into the atmosphere. General Harris nodded grimly. They won't fall for the same trick twice. Initiate Phase 2. Across the globe, military bases activated hidden systems. What the Zarnians had believed were simple radio and television towers were actually components of an improvised planetary defense network. Earth had been preparing for this moment since the aliens arrived. Lisa Daniels activated her disruption system from MIT. The device sent precisely targeted quantum noise across the frequencies used by Zarnian ships. In orbit, Zarnian crew members suddenly found their neural interfaces filled with static. Ship-to-ship communications became garbled or cut out entirely. Enemy communications are disrupted, a technician reported to Olivia. Estimated 60% effectiveness. Launch now, Olivia ordered. Around the world, missile silos opened, but these weren't ordinary nuclear missiles. In the 3 days since first contact, engineers had modified the warheads based on Frank's analysis of Zarnian shield technology. Each missile now carried a two-stage system, an electromagnetic pulse, followed by kinetic penetrators made from Earth's densest materials. In space, Admiral Krell watched with amusement as Earth's missiles rose toward his fleet. "Primitive chemical rockets," he said. "They cannot penetrate our shields." Commander Vex seemed less certain. "Sir, these missiles are following unusual trajectories, and our sensors detect odd energy signatures." Before Krell could respond, the first missiles detonated just outside the Zarnian shields. Instead of explosions, they released powerful electromagnetic pulses specifically tuned to the frequency of Zarnian shield generators. For 3 crucial seconds, the shields flickered. In those 3 seconds, the second stage of each missile, thousands of super-dense tungsten rods, slammed into the Zarnian ships at incredible speeds. The kinetic energy tore through hull plating never designed to withstand physical impacts. Alarms blared throughout the Zarnian fleet. 2 smaller vessels lost power completely. The flagship shuddered as multiple impacts breached its outer hull. Impossible. Krell roared as damage reports flooded in. How could they know our shield frequencies? On the main view screen, hundreds more missiles launched from Earth. "Sir," Commander Vex urged, "we should withdraw to higher orbit and reassess. The humans have clearly prepared countermeasures we didn't anticipate." Krell slammed all 4 hands on the command console. "No retreat. Deploy ground forces as planned. We will crush their resistance on the surface while the fleet regroups." Throughout Earth's atmosphere, Zarnian transport ships descended. Each carried troops and equipment. For the ground invasion, the Zarnians expected to establish beachheads with minimal resistance before expanding their control. Colonel Peter Wright coordinated Earth's ground defense from a mobile command center. As a veteran of multiple conflicts, he recognized the Zarnians were following textbook invasion tactics developed for conventional warfare, not for fighting humans. "They're landing in predictable patterns," he told his international force of soldiers. "Remember your training. Don't engage directly. Hit and run, just like we practiced." The Zarnian ground forces found themselves in a nightmare. Their landing zones, which scans had shown to be clear, were riddled with hidden traps and automated defense systems. When they moved into urban areas, they faced not just military opposition, but ordinary citizens who had transformed everyday items into weapons. Zarnian squad leader reported back to the fleet, "The humans are everywhere and nowhere. They strike, then disappear into tunnels or buildings. They've rigged their own infrastructure to collapse on our forces. Even their civilians fight." In space, the battle continued. Earth had launched its limited supply of spacecraft, shuttles and satellites repurposed as weapons. These small craft couldn't match Zarnian firepower, but they exploited the communication disruption to slip through gaps in the alien defense network. Kyle Bennett coordinated the cyber attack from his position at the National Security Agency. His team had analyzed the Zarnian transmissions and created a crude but effective virus. "Upload ready," he told Olivia over the secure line. "But we need to get it directly into their system. Our hacking attempts from Earth are being blocked." "Working on it," Olivia replied. In orbit, a modified space shuttle approached the damaged section of Krell's flagship. Inside, a small team of astronauts and computer specialists prepared for the most important mission of their lives. "We have one shot at this," the mission commander told her team. "Once we dock at the breach point, we'll have approximately 3 minutes to upload Kyle's package before their security systems lock us out." The shuttle maneuvered skillfully through the debris field created by the battle. The Zarnian targeting systems, still suffering from Lisa's disruption, couldn't get a clean lock on the small craft. On the Zarnian flagship, Admiral Krell raged at his officers. "How is this happening? They are primitives with primitive technology." Commander Vex studied the battle data with growing concern. "Sir, they're not fighting like primitives. They're adapting to our tactics in real time. Each attack is more precise than the last." "They got lucky," Krell insisted. "Redirect power to the main weapon system. We'll destroy their major cities one by one until they surrender." As the flagship's main weapon began charging, the Earth shuttle reached the hull breach. The team docked and quickly moved to access a damaged computer terminal. They plugged in their device and began uploading Kyle's virus. Throughout the flagship, systems began to malfunction. Life support fluctuated. Artificial gravity wavered. Weapon targeting systems displayed false information. "We're under cyber attack," a Zarnian officer reported. "Unknown code is spreading through our network." Krell turned to his communications officer. "Send the abort code to the ground forces. Order all ships to purge their systems and regroup at the backup coordinates." But no message went out. Kyle's virus had specifically targeted the communication systems first. On Earth, Frank Carter monitored the battle from NASA's control room. "The virus is working," he told General Harris. "Their fleet is in disarray. Now's the time for the main attack." Harris gave the order, and around the world, the weapons that Earth had held in reserve launched simultaneously. These weren't missiles but mass drivers, electromagnetic launchers that fired projectiles at incredible speeds. The technology had been experimental before first contact, but humanity's engineers had worked miracles in 3 days. In space, the Zarnian fleet found itself under attack from all directions. With their shields weakened and communications disrupted, they couldn't coordinate a defense. Several smaller ships, critical systems offline, began drifting helplessly. On the flagship bridge, Admiral Krell watched in disbelief as his invasion force fell into chaos. "This is impossible," he whispered. "How could we have miscalculated so badly?" Commander Vex moved to Krell's side. "Sir, we should consider a strategic withdrawal. We can return with a larger force once we understand their capabilities better." Before Krell could respond, the entire ship shuddered violently. The main power system, strained by damage and the cyber attack, began to fail. "Admiral," Vex said, quietly, "the Vex warnings about humans. Perhaps they weren't exaggerations after all." For the first time in his career, Admiral Krell felt fear. He looked at the blue planet on his view screen and realized his terrible mistake. The Zarnian Empire had encountered many species in its expansion across the galaxy, but they had never before met humans. 3 weeks after the first Zarnian attack, Earth was still at war, but the situation had changed dramatically. The initial Zarnian invasion fleet was in ruins. 5 ships had been destroyed completely. 3 drifted in orbit, disabled by Earth's attacks. Only the flagship and 2 escort vessels remained operational, now hiding behind Earth's moon to make repairs. Admiral Krell faced the hardest moment of his military career. He opened a secure channel to the Zarnian High Council. "Honored Council members," he began, his voice steady despite his shame. "I must report that the colonization of Earth has encountered significant resistance." Councilor Mara's face showed shock on the view screen. "Explain, Admiral. How can primitives resist our military might?" Krell took a deep breath. "The humans are not what we expected. They adapted to our technology with impossible speed. They identified and exploited weaknesses we didn't know existed. Our ground forces report that even without advanced weapons, humans are dangerous. They use their environment as a weapon. They modify simple tools for combat. They never surrender a position. They either win or ensure their defeat costs us dearly." Another council member spoke up. "This is unacceptable. The Empire does not fail." "I have requested reinforcements," Krell continued. "With a larger fleet, we can overwhelm their defenses." The council members looked at each other. Mara leaned forward. "Reinforcements have already been dispatched, Admiral. The Dominance fleet will arrive in 14 planetary cycles. They carry our newest weapons technology and 20,000 additional ground troops. Earth will be subdued." After the transmission ended, Commander Vex approached Krell carefully. "Sir, will 20,000 troops be enough? Our reports from the surface—" "No force is enough if we continue conventional tactics," Krell interrupted. "We need to understand our enemy better." He turned to a display showing Earth's continents. "Find me their weaknesses. Everyone has them." On Earth, the initial victory had given way to grim determination. In an underground facility converted from a former missile silo, Olivia met with the unified Earth defense team. "The good news is, we've pushed them back," she explained to the assembled military and scientific leaders. The bad news is our sources indicate a much larger force is coming. Frank Carter nodded grimly. We've analyzed the debris from the destroyed Zarnian ships. They were using their older technology against us. Essentially, they sent their second-best equipment, assuming it would be more than enough. Next time, they won't underestimate us, Olivia said. Lisa Daniels raised her hand. We've made progress reverse engineering their shield technology. The prototype is working at 40% efficiency. And I've improved the virus, Kyle added. If we can deploy it again, it will spread faster and be harder to remove. Alan Murphy, who had been coordinating with international governments, looked concerned. The civilian situation is deteriorating. The Zarnian ground forces have occupied several major cities. Reports of resistance are met with brutal retaliation. Colonel Peter Wright nodded. Their tactics have evolved. They've learned from their early mistakes. They're now targeting infrastructure, water, power, communications. They're trying to turn the population against us. Which brings us to the most difficult decision, General Harris said, standing to address the group. Admiral Krell has sent a message. He offers temporary ceasefire negotiations. The room erupted in debate. Some argued it was a trap, others, that Earth needed time to prepare for the next wave of attacks. Olivia raised her voice above the others. I think we should meet with him, not to negotiate surrender, but to gather intelligence. Every interaction gives us more information about how they think, how they fight, what they value, Alan agreed. And we need to understand what's coming. If we can delay their reinforcements even by a few days, it gives our people more time to prepare. The decision was made. Alan and Olivia would meet Admiral Krell at a neutral location, an abandoned oil platform in the Pacific Ocean. When the Zarnian shuttle landed on the platform, Krell emerged with just 2 guards and Commander Vex. The Admiral looked different. His scales duller, his posture less imposing. The battle had taken its toll. Mr. Murphy, Captain Mason, he greeted them. I appreciate your willingness to meet. Alan maintained a neutral expression. Admiral, you requested this meeting. We're listening. Krell made a gesture that might have been respect. Your resistance has been impressive. No species has ever inflicted such damage on Imperial forces. I offer terms that will spare your people further suffering. Terms? Olivia asked. The Dominance fleet will arrive in 14 days. It carries weapons that can render your planet uninhabitable. Before that happens, I offer you the opportunity to surrender key strategic locations and resources. In exchange, major population centers will be spared. Alan studied the alien carefully. And if we refuse? Then history will remember Earth. As a tragic example of pride before extinction, Krell said simply. After returning to Earth, Alan and Olivia reported to the Defense Council. He's desperate, Olivia concluded. His career, maybe his life, depends on securing some kind of victory before the reinforcements arrive. Frank looked thoughtful. The reinforcements concern me most. If they have significantly better technology, then we need to be significantly better too, Lisa finished. We need to make a technological leap. Kyle pulled up data on his tablet. During the meeting, I scanned their shuttle. Their systems are far more integrated than we realized. Neural connections link their technology directly to Zarnian biology. Olivia's eyes widened. That's it. Their strength is also their vulnerability. They've evolved their technology to work perfectly with their biology, their thinking patterns. But that makes it vulnerable to outside-the-box solutions they'd never consider, Frank said, catching on. Solutions that only humans would think of. For the next 10 days, Earth's best minds worked around the clock. Every captured piece of Zarnian technology was studied, every encounter with their forces analyzed. Factories worldwide produced components for a plan so audacious that even its creators weren't certain it would work. On the 11th day, Olivia presented the final plan to world leaders. We call it Operation Trojan, she explained. The Zarnians expect us to either surrender or prepare a conventional defense against their fleet. They don't expect us to take the fight to them before they even arrive. Lisa detailed the technical aspects. We've adapted their own neural interface technology and modified it with Kyle's virus. When connected to their systems, it will create a cascade failure throughout their entire command network. The delivery method is key, Frank continued. We've modified 3 of our largest rockets to appear as if they're carrying nuclear weapons. The Zarnians will expect this kind of last, desperate attack. But instead of warheads, they carry our modified interface devices. We only get one shot at this, Olivia concluded. If it works, we disable their entire fleet before they can attack. If it fails, she didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone understood the stakes. On the Zarnian flagship, Admiral Krell received reports from his scouts. The humans are launching orbital weapons, sir. Primitive nuclear devices. Krell smiled for the first time in weeks. As expected, a final, futile gesture. The Dominance fleet arrives tomorrow. Earth's resistance ends then. He watched the human rockets rise toward space, unaware that they carried something far more dangerous than nuclear weapons. They carried human ingenuity. The Zarnian Dominance fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. 20 massive warships, each 4 times the size of Admiral Krell's flagship, moved in perfect formation toward the blue planet. Inside the lead vessel, Fleet Commander Zorak studied the tactical displays. I see Admiral Krell has at least contained the human resistance to their planet, Zorax noted to his senior officers, though his failure to complete the colonization is disappointing. A communication officer approached. Commander, we're receiving a priority signal from Admiral Krell. Krell's image appeared on the main screen. Commander Zorax, welcome to the Earth system. I must warn you, these humans are unlike any species we've encountered. They've adapted to our tactics and technology with remarkable speed. Zorax made a dismissive gesture. Your concern is noted, Admiral. Perhaps if you had deployed proper Imperial protocols from the beginning, this resistance would have been crushed immediately. Commander, I strongly advise caution, Krell insisted. The humans have launched what appear to be nuclear weapons toward your position. While primitive, they could damage your outer ships. We've detected their missiles, Zorax replied, hardly a concern for the Dominance fleet's defenses. As the Earth rockets approached the Zarnian fleet, massive energy shields activated around each warship. The first rocket detonated against the shields of the lead vessel, creating a spectacular but harmless explosion. As expected, Zorax said, primitive nuclear weapons cannot penetrate our... The second and third rockets didn't detonate. Instead, they fragmented into thousands of tiny devices that scattered across the fleet's shields. The small objects appeared to burn up on contact with the energy barriers. On the bridge, a Zarnian officer reported, minor radiation from the human weapons, but shields holding at full strength. No damage to report. Zorax nodded with satisfaction. Prepare the assault formation. We'll begin planetary bombardment in 30 minutes. But deep within the Zarnian ships, something strange was happening. The tiny fragments from Earth's rockets hadn't been destroyed by the shields. They had been designed to use the shield's energy to power themselves. Each microscopic device contained a modified version of the Zarnians' own neural interface technology, merged with Kyle's evolved virus. As the devices activated, they connected to the ship's neural networks, the same biological-technological interface that made Zarnian systems so efficient. The virus spread between ships through their communication channels, infecting one system after another. On Earth, Kyle watched data streams from deep space monitoring stations. They took the bait, he told Olivia and the others gathered in the command center. Connection established with 17 of their 20 ships. Lisa monitored the virus's progress. Neural interface integration at 62% and rising. The virus is spreading faster than we anticipated. Frank looked cautiously optimistic. Their systems are trying to fight it, but they don't recognize it as a threat because it's using their own neural pathways. In space, the Dominance fleet began experiencing unexplainable malfunctions. Ship systems activated and deactivated randomly. Navigation controls locked up. Weapon systems calibrated to the wrong targets. Most concerning, the neural interfaces began feeding false information to the Zarnian crews. On the lead vessel, Commander Zorax felt the first effects as a strange doubling of his vision. "Medical officer," he called out. "Something is wrong with the neural feeds." Before the medical officer could respond, alarms blared across the ship. A sensor officer stared at his console in confusion. "Commander, multiple ships are reporting system failures. Our neural networks are experiencing, I don't understand, it's like they're being reprogrammed." Zorax struggled to think clearly as his neural implants flooded his mind with contradictory information. "Contact Admiral Krell," he ordered. "Something is attacking our systems." When Krell's image appeared, the Admiral looked grim. "I warned you, Commander. The humans don't fight like other species. They find vulnerabilities no one else would consider." As the virus spread throughout the fleet, more critical systems failed. Life support fluctuated. Artificial gravity wavered. Some ships began firing weapons at random coordinates. In Earth's command center, General Harris watched the chaos with amazement. "It's working better than we hoped. Their entire fleet is in disarray." "Now for Phase 2, Olivia said. She opened a communication channel to the disabled ships. "Attention, Zarnian fleet. This is Captain Olivia Mason of Earth Defense. Your systems have been compromised. We can deactivate the virus and allow you to withdraw safely, or we can trigger a complete neural network collapse. The choice is yours." On his flagship, Admiral Krell received Zorax's desperate communication. "The humans have done something to our neural interfaces. Half the fleet is disabled. The other half reports crews experiencing hallucinations and confusion." Krell closed his eyes briefly. "The Vex were right about humans all along. They are dangerous in ways we never imagined." He opened a channel to Earth. "Captain Mason, this is Admiral Krell. I request a ceasefire and terms for withdrawal." 6 days later, in a hastily constructed meeting facility in Geneva, representatives from Earth met with Admiral Krell, Commander Zorax, and delegates from the Zarnian High Council. The mood was tense but formal. Counselor Mara spoke first, in Sil. 4,000 years of expansion. The Zarnian Empire has never experienced a defeat like this. Your species has impressed us." Alan Murphy, leading Earth's diplomatic team, responded carefully. "We didn't want this conflict. We simply defended our home. By all rights, we should return with an even larger force," Commander Zorax said. "Still suffering occasional neural glitches from the virus. We could glass your entire planet from orbit." Frank Carter smiled slightly. "You could try, but as you've seen, humans are remarkably good at finding unexpected solutions to seemingly impossible problems." Lisa added, "And now we understand your technology. Each encounter makes us stronger, not weaker." Counselor Mara studied the humans thoughtfully. "Ambassador Thrix of the Vex tried to warn us. He said humans were unlike any species we had encountered. We should have listened." "Where is the ambassador now?" Olivia asked. "Traveling here," Mara replied. "He was eager to meet your species properly." The final agreement was unprecedented in Zarnian history. Earth would not become a colony but would instead be recognized as an independent world. A boundary zone would be established around the solar system. Limited trade and cultural exchange would be permitted under strict protocols. The Zarnian delegates prepared to depart. Ambassador Thrix arrived. The translucent alien moved gracefully into the room, his appendages glowing with complex patterns. "Humans," he said through his translator, "the Vex have observed your world for centuries. We saw what the Zarnians could not, that your greatest strength is not your technology or resources, but your adaptability. When threatened, you advance more in days than other species do in decades." Alan looked curious. "If you knew this, why didn't you contact us directly?" Thrix's body shimmered with what might have been amusement. "For precisely the reason the Zarnians discovered. Approaching humans with threats or demands is unwise. We preferred to wait until you were ready for peaceful contact." As the delegates departed, Olivia stood with Frank, Lisa, and Kyle watching the ships leave Earth's atmosphere. "Do you think they'll honor the agreement?" Lisa asked. Frank nodded. "They're not stupid. The next time they'd face an even more prepared Earth. Plus, Kyle added with a smile. We still have the complete schematics of their neural networks. They know we could shut down their entire empire if we wanted to. Olivia looked up at the stars, thinking about the vast galaxy beyond. This is just the beginning. Earth is part of something much bigger now. And the galaxy, Frank said quietly, has just discovered why the Vex tried to warn them about humans.